I'm currently not in therapy, so I thought it might be enjoyable to talk. Let me put a shirt on so that the comments aren't like, "Where's your damn shirt, buddy? Trying to show off your crazy bod," which is not what I was trying to do. I was just really overheated, but that's more comfortable. I thought it might be fun to talk on YouTube because I'm not like in therapy right now, and I'm home alone currently. I've been home alone all day, and I don't know. I get very easily lonely, which I think is a problem of mine. Like if I'm not constantly being in some way reaffirmed or built up by somebody or a group of people, my self-worth goes astray very quickly. So I need reassurance that I'm a cool person like 24/7. But I also try very desperately to not show that part of myself because I think it's really pathetic. Uh, so sometimes I'm like nonchalant about it, but I really do want people to pay attention to me. I crave attention. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be making YouTube videos probably, or starting to make YouTube videos. All of the stuff on my YouTube right now is, I think I have 2 shorts where I show paintings that I did, and then maybe I deleted those because they're kind of embarrassing. Or I have like a lot of experimental audio stuff on my page. And those videos only get like 10 views. I'm basically just putting them on YouTube so that I can archive them, so that I can come back and view them. And I'm adding all of them to a private playlist one by one so that I can burn all of the audio to CDs. Like I released an album of like noise plus electronic plus alternative music like a couple months ago called Rhombus, and it's just like 50 minutes of me puttering around on mostly BandLab and GarageBand, either on my phone or on my iPad, using real instruments for the most part, and then just like really messing them up and bending them to a point where they sound noisy and muddled and very weird. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent, but I don't know. I decided to do this because all of my favorite YouTube videos, like, well, I'm not going to give any names because it's kind of embarrassing that I watch these people, actually. Not that I've ever been embarrassed by anything. But a lot of my favorite YouTubers / YouTube videos are just people talking about the state of their lives or thoughts that they have about a certain subject in just like a funny or very candid way. And right now I'm obviously going for candid as opposed to funny. A lot of the time I try to be goofy, but that is most of the time to deflect from being vulnerable in any way that I could be. Like I use humor as a shield, which I think is a pretty common cope for people. And I think that it's fine, and that it's actually a pretty positive cope a lot of the time, except when you start laughing at dark things at inappropriate times. Like, I was probably 11 or 12, and I was at my great-grandmother's funeral, and I was just cracking jokes the entire time, because it was the first funeral that I'd ever been to, and instead of thinking about death, I just wanted to make people laugh, but instead I just hurt people's feelings because I was making jokes about their dead family member. Which is kind of messed up, but also it's still a little bit hilarious to me, which is maybe not great. But for some reason I just had a flash in my head of that Mr. Beast video from like a million years ago where he's like, "Hi, me in 5 years," or "Hi, me in 10 years." I forget. I hate Mr. Beast, so I don't know the title of the video or what he even says in it because I watched it like 3 years ago for the first time, and only because I had like 100 million views or over 100 million views. Mr. Beast is a shady dude. I don't trust him for some reason. I don't trust any artist, YouTuber, or I don't know, any influencer, any celebrity of any kind that gets that big and has that much power. It bothers me for some reason. But also, if somebody came up to me and they were like, "Hey, I'm a genie. Do you want that power?" I'd probably say yes, in the back of my mind thinking, yeah, but I wouldn't abuse it. I would use it for something good. There's a car passing. And then I would probably just take it and then go and abuse it like everybody else does. So I'm not better than anyone. Really. I don't think so. I hope I'm not too far away from my phone while recording this. But also, I don't think that I should talk too much about the nature of the video that I'm making while I'm making it. It seems kind of, I was going to say unprofessional, but I'm not trying to be professional at all. I'm literally just drinking coffee on my couch, feeling all lonely. It's funny though. I'll feel lonely in a room full of like all of my closest friends. There's just like a disconnect there for me for some reason sometimes. Or with my parents, I'll be talking to my parents about something and then I'll just feel a disconnect there. Like I'm not that close with my parents, or that there are a lot of things that I could say that I feel like they wouldn't understand at all. I'm very close with my brother. I would say he's probably the person that I'm closest with. But at the same time, I don't feel like he understands me 100%. I don't feel like anybody 100% understands me. And I think everyone has that problem. I think that's why a lot of people end up like believing in an all-knowing God, is because if there is an all-knowing God, especially like Yahweh, then he takes care of you and nurtures you and understands you in that way that I don't think is possible for other people to. But that's a whole other huge subject that I don't want to get into. So I just dodged it by taking a sip of my coffee and hoping that that would give me enough time to think about something else. But I'm stuck on the idea of God. Last night I was hiking and this mom and her son came out of the woodwork, meaning they came out of the woods, where there was actually a lot of work being done, which is funny. There was like construction and stuff. But we just started talking and she said, if there is a God, his most shameful decision was making these blasted ticks. And then she peeled a tick off her arm and flicked it away. And then her son was just like, whoa, Mom, chill. And then we ended up talking for like 30 minutes about insects and how annoying some of them are and how pretty others are. I don't mind insects as long as they're not insecting on me. Or like, I'll let a spider crawl on my arm or something like that. I'm not skittish at all. I just don't want something like biting me or giving me a disease or taking my blood from me. I think that's a fair boundary to have with bugs. Just don't make my quality of life a lot worse, okay? I knew somebody that went to Africa and they somehow lied about having gotten the proper shots and they got, I think, malaria and almost died. Which is so terrifying. Like, why? That is the stupidest thing ever. It was like, I barely even knew this person. It was like a friend of my mom's friend that I had met like once, and my mom told me this story. But that is just so brain dead. I don't understand how you could do that. Jeez. Also, my hair is a huge problem in my life. I've literally never liked my hair throughout my entire life, and like every month I go through a different hairstyle. Like last winter, it was buzzed. And then I spent all of the time that I spent looking in the mirror just being insecure about how big my forehead is, which it looks pretty big to me, but I don't know. I'm not a generally insecure person, but for whatever reason, my forehead bothers me. And somebody came up to me when I was like 10, and they were like, "Whoa, nice 5 head," and then they put their 5 digits up to my forehead, and I think that scarred me for some reason. I really don't want to be, but I think I'm a really sensitive person. I really wish that I were just like not emotionless, but kind of indestructible, and that nothing could get to me, and that I was just 100% self-assured all of the time, which I am very self-assured, and I come across as being very confident, but oftentimes when I leave a situation where I was super confident and even big-headed and egotistical sometimes, I rethink all of those things and start to like get in my own head about all of the interactions that I had. So, it's only by myself that I'm insecure, which is kind of what I was talking about before, about people needing to constantly reaffirm me and help me remember that I'm cool in some way. Not cool, because cool is a really shallow word, but just that I am acceptable to be around, I guess, and that I'm not annoying to the average person. I don't know. But also, I don't really hang out with average people. A lot of my... that sounded kind of big-headed or pretentious. Or like, I have a phobia of average people. I don't have a phobia of average people, but I do find a lot of people kind of boring, and I just avoid those people, which I don't think is bad. Like, I'd help a boring person if they needed my help. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not rude to people specifically because they're boring. I just don't interact with them nearly as much. But I don't know. I think that most, if not all, of the interactions that we have with people are foundationally selfish in some way. I have kind of a cynical, or I'm trying not to, but I think I naturally have kind of a cynical worldview and way of thinking about people. And I'm trying to escape from that because I really love people, and I really love getting to know and interacting with people without it feeling like I'm constantly breaking it down in my head, like what type of transaction we're having or what type of exchange we're having and what it all means. I really enjoy it like 99% of the time, just talking to people and getting to know people. So while still holding that belief, I'm trying to escape from those ideas that all interactions that we have with other people are for some sort of personal gain. Which it does seem like to me, but I'm also probably wrong. I have like and I won't discuss them because I feel like if I make it known what they are now, then they'll just change right away. But I do have very kind of ballsy, gutsy beliefs about things, just about how the world works and everything. And I forget what point I was leading to with that, but I have very ballsy, very gutsy beliefs about things, and I do think that most people would be turned off by them, which is another thing. I was going to say, but I also feel like, hold on, motorcycle. But I also feel like my beliefs are probably wrong, or that they're just specific to me and true to me. but not true independent of me thinking that they are. I think that if some kind of objective metric for right and wrong exists, my beliefs are closer to the absolute wrong side of the spectrum. It just seems more likely that my beliefs would be wrong because I haven't done a lot of work refining them. It's more so that I just perceive like what's unfair or what is, I mean, to me it's just what's right in front of me, and I'm just saying what seems to be right in front of me, which leads me to thinking that like not a lot matters, but not that not a lot matters to me, but just that not a lot matters independent of people believing that things matter. I don't know if anything that I'm saying even makes sense. I have a lot of these thoughts that float around, but I don't talk to very many people about them because they're difficult to explain, and sometimes I'll be trying to explain them. Not at a party or anything like that. I save these topics for like one-on-one coffee dates or something like that. But I'll be trying to explain one of my thoughts about something, and the other person is just clearly not picking up on the language that I'm using. Because I'm explaining it poorly. I'm not saying it's the person's fault at all. I'm saying that I do a poor job of explaining a lot of the like semi to completely abstract ideas that I have about things, and it really frustrates me sometimes how bad of a communicator I am. One time I really loved somebody, and I started crying because I couldn't explain to that person how much I loved them. Like the word love or my combination of any similar word, it just wasn't enough to express how much I loved this person. It was like the most I've ever loved somebody, and I like totally fumbled my explanation of how much I loved that person by just being like, I love you. Which, to me, like my family and I, we say that we love each other probably 5 times a day. I'm like, I'm leaving the house and I'm like, bye mom, love you, or bye Liam, my brother, love you. And it's just like something that you leave the room saying, or something that you say before you go to bed, or I don't know, something that you say while somebody else is leaving, or when somebody comes home, you hug them and say, how was your day? And it ends with love you, or something like that. I don't know. Like it loses the gravity that it has if you're just saying it on a daily basis to multiple people. I mean, even with a lot of my friends, as we're leaving, hanging out, I'll hug them and be like, bye, I love you. And then they'll be like, I love you too, Corin. And it's just like a very normal word to toss around in my family and in my friend group for whatever reason. Or in one of my friend groups. I have like 3 friend groups. I have one that is the people that I first met through my parents when I moved here. I live in Maine currently, and I moved here from Pennsylvania. And I just met them through the community that my parents became a part of. And then the second group is all of the people that I've met in the art community, being a painter and tabling places and having exhibitions places, and trying to like expand my reach in that circle. I've found a lot of like deeply meaningful relationships and really close friends. I would say that's probably my favorite friend group that I have right now, because I several times a week, like 3 or 4 times a week, am hanging out with them because I work with some of them. Like, I work as a studio assistant to 2 sculptors, but then in addition to that, I work at an art gallery. So I'm hanging out with like the same, not like-minded, because we're all very different from one another, but there's like a common thread that knits us together, which is our love for art and our love for, I guess, learning would be the other thing that we all have in common. We all like learning about things. I don't know. I was homeschooled, and I think that the main takeaway that I got from having been homeschooled was how to, well, how to read. That was really important. But more broadly, just how to be excited about a certain subject was, I think, the most valuable lesson that I learned having been homeschooled, was basically that my mom would make the subjects that we were learning exciting in some way. Or at the very least, if I disliked a subject that I was working on, like I've always, it's not that I dislike it, I would just get really mad at myself about math, because I'm pretty bad at math. And I graduated high school when I was 16, and I can't, my mom doesn't watch YouTube, so I think this is okay, but maybe I won't say it. I mean, who's gonna be still watching this 22 minutes in anyway? I faked through my entire algebra curriculum. Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And I think I faked through pre-algebra 2. It is so bad. I actually forgot that I did that. I do not deserve to have graduated early. But it was just like, for some reason, I would start doing it, and I would just get so upset with myself right away for not immediately understanding all of the material. And I was like 14. I don't know, 14, 15, and then 16 was when I like did Algebra 2 and then finished, I think. But then I did the beginning of pre-calculus, which I didn't fake my way through, but there was a big gap there, for sure. And Mom, in case you are watching this, I did not fake through any of my algebra, and I was just saying it to be interesting in the video that I'm making, and I would never do such a thing, and I think you educated me really well, and I love you. It's 23 minutes in, so I think I'm gonna cut it, but this was surprisingly fun to make. I feel like I just talked to a wall for 23 minutes, which is something that I do anyway. When I'm alone long enough, I just start talking to myself, which is what I was doing before I pressed record. I was like, I might as well get something out of all of the loose thoughts that might like tumble down the staircase of my brain and out my mouth. But anyway, goodbye. And I'll probably make another one of these sometime. I mean, it's not going to be scheduled or anything, but peace.